Alright, how it do, everyone? It's your boy, Feedback Loop. My name is Nathan Hutchins, and in this episode of my vlog, the 6th episode, we're going to be talking about the 6th habit of highly effective teams. In the last episode, we talked about seeking first to understand, then to be understood. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to properly synergize. So, as you can probably see coming, this is a problem. We don't synergize enough. We tend to do stuff alone, and we need to stop. So the first thing I pulled from Sean Covey's iteration of this is a quote from Helen Keller. And she says, "Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much." So this is pretty incredible, considering the fact it came from a blind and deaf person. So she's been alone her entire life, and even she knows this. So let's get into what synergy actually is. Synergy is when two or more people work together to reach an outcome that they couldn't do alone. So you can see why this is a good habit to have. Popcorn warning. And synergy is in nature too, you'll see. We have examples of this all over nature. And the first example he finds that actually almost starts off the entire thing is when geese are flying in that V shape we know them for. The geese towards the front are creating the updraft to help the ones behind stay up in the air. So by doing that, everyone's able to do it better than if I was to fly alone like a dumb little antisocial bird. So let's get into what synergy actually is in terms of separate thingies. The author lists 4 different things that synergy is, as well as 4 things it isn't. But let's talk about celebrating differences. And you can have 3 mindsets. You can be a shunner, you can be a tolerator, or a celebrator. The shunner is afraid of differences. They enjoy ridiculing those who are different, and they will not hesitate to get up in your face about how different you are and how you should be euthanized because of it. And the tolerator is almost there. They think that everyone has the right to be different, but they don't truly embrace diversity. They tend to do their own thing and let other people do theirs. And they also don't make an attempt to learn from any of these differences. So that's another big boo-boo. Then we have the celebrator. You should strive to be the celebrator. They value differences and see them as advantageous. And they also believe that diversity creates the creative sparks that lead to opportunity. So you have to keep that in mind. And we also have teamwork, open-mindedness, and finding new and better ways to do stuff as other parts of what synergy is. What synergy is not is the following: tolerating differences, working independently, thinking you're always right, and, drum roll, compromising, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to tolerate, you want to be accepting, you don't want to work independently, you want to work with others, you don't want to always think you're right, and you don't want to compromise. You hear me? So, as I said in the beginning, synergy is all over nature, believe it or not. And it goes beyond this stupid little geese I was talking about. The first example is the great sequoia trees. These things are very symbiotic, and the reason they are is because they have a shared root network, and together all these roots entangle and make it harder for the trees to topple in a windstorm. So without those roots, these trees would definitely be dead by now. And another example here is small birds and rhinoceroses. You might have seen how small birds can land on a rhinoceros and start pecking the bugs, just start pecking the bugs off of its back. Well, that is synergy. That's the small bird getting the snack of a little bug, and the rhinoceros being relieved, of these tiny little bugs. So both parties are benefiting, so no one's going to die but the bugs. And now the author, Sean Covey, brings up how we're all different in quite a few ways. And some of these ways are in how we learn, how we see, and also how we, our characteristics. Let's get into learning first. The author, I don't know why I keep calling him author, Sean Covey lists 7 different learning styles and things. You can be linguistic, which is when you learn through language or reading. Logical, mathematical, which is when you learn from logical and mathematics. Bodily kinesthetic is when you learn through being touched. Spatial is when you look at an image or look at a picture and you're like, oh my god, I'm learning so much. Musical, that's when you learn from sound or rhythm, just like this. And you also have interpersonal, which is when you learn from other people and interacting with them, and intrapersonal, which is when you learn from yourself and how you feel, how I feel, how I feel down here, like this. And now let's go on to how people see things differently. Some people may see different things if you show them a picture. Like, you may have seen a few optical illusions where from one side it's a rabbit, but from another it's a duck. That's what's going on here. Some people see different things, and you shouldn't murder them for that. Now, with all this symbiosis and all this synergy going on, you want to watch out for the roadblocks. There are 3 roadblocks to celebrating those differences. And the first one is ignorance. That is cluelessness. It's when you judge someone. It's when you don't know what someone's been through, or what they think, or what they feel, or what they thought, or what they felt. So nothing about that's going to work. You need to understand people, just like this. Now the second is clicks. Clicks in and of themselves are not bad. They're only bad whenever they become really, really similar. Like, everyone has to be quite similar. And when you reject people because they're different, that's when you've got a big problema. Please excuse me for that. The third and final roadblock to celebrating differences is prejudice, and you probably saw that one coming. Prejudice. It's when you judge someone based on their gender, race, where they're from, what they speak, who they be, all that stuff, without even knowing them. And it's not something you're born with. You're not born with prejudice. That's something that's ingrained in you over a period of time. So you can't look at a little child and say, oh, he was born the devil. You have to think that the devil made him after he was born. Now we're done with the roadblocks. I'm going to celebrate. You need to find the highway. And the author brings up a pretty mind-blowing example. He says that compromise is 1 plus 1 equals 1.5. He says cooperation is 1 plus 1 equals 2. But synergy, that's 1 plus 2. That is, test 1, 2. That is 1 plus 1 is greater. Synergy is 1 plus 1 equals 3, or higher. So he brings up this example, and I'm going to read this verbatim. If one 2x4 beam can support 607 pounds, then 2 2x4s should be able to support 1,214 pounds, right? Actually, 2 2x4s can support 1,821 pounds. If you nail them together, 2 2x4s can now support 4,878 pounds. And 3 2x4s nailed together can support 8,480 frickin' 1 pounds. Oh my goodness gracious. Now we've gone over the highway. we're going to talk about getting a synergy. And you need to have an action plan if you're going to do that. And there's a 5-step thing. You need to define the problem. You have to consider it from someone else's point of view, which is going back to the 5th habit. You need to think about it from your perspective now. Then you got to brainstorm some new ideas, some new options. Then you got to find the highway, which is when you find the best solution for both of you. And great teams, they always have a bunch of different people. And Sean Covey gives 5 examples of that. He says there are plotters, followers, innovators, harmonizers, and show-offs, all with their own different things. Plotters will stick to a job until they finish it. Followers will be very supportive of leaders. Innovators will be creative and provide ideas. Harmonizers will make sure the group is unified and support one another. And the show-offs are just fun and give you the momentum to reach that end goal, that success. And he gives this example throughout it. Music will only sound good if you take all the instruments, the voices, and all that, and make them work in harmony, just like this you're about to hear. So now that you have all of those instruments working in tandem, working in the rhythm, knowing what the rhythm they're supposed to be going in, once you have them all cooperating like that, you have basically synergized. And that's all I have for today's episode of my vlogadocio. So let's get more synergy going. Let's work together. Let's stop tolerating. Let's stop hating. And just celebrate the fact that we're different, you hear me? So drop a like, hit the bell, don't click the dislike button. Once again, I will cry, and subscribe as well. Music page down below, copernicus.bandcamp.com. Check it out. New albums coming out very soon. I'm out of here. This is the Report of the Week signing out.